Good morning. Good afternoon now. I'm a little late to the party today. It is day 20, 21 days of the goddess. I can't believe it. This last 3 weeks has gone by so fast. So tomorrow will be the last day. And if you watched yesterday, you saw that a bunch of goddesses tried to pop out. Like, they're like, wait, we didn't get to give our message yet. And I had to put them back in the deck and choose just one. And we have another one pop out today that popped out yesterday. She was like, nope, you're not going to forget about me. She immediately flipped out as soon as I started shuffling the deck this morning, and that's Lilith, of course, Lilith. So if you don't know the story of Lilith, it's a bit controversial, so I'm going to try to be very fair. I have a lot to say about this. I'm going to try to be very fair today. Lilith was the Jewish goddess who refused to be dominated by Adam, by the first man. So she was then called a demon and demonized for basically not being subservient or surrendering. And so she really brings the message of empowerment and interdependence. So if she's coming up, which she is today, she's speaking to everyone who might need to walk away from a enmeshed relationship, a codependent relationship, a relationship in which only one person is allowed to grow. You're not allowed to grow. Maybe you're the support person. Maybe you're being a parent for your partner. Maybe you're taking care of everything and they're not handling their share of life tasks as you move forward as a team. Maybe they're not a team member. They're not a teammate. There's not equality. Or maybe you feel that you can't make it on your own. And this is very characteristic, unfortunately, of women in our generation because we haven't yet seen models of healthy interdependent relationships as the norm, because we haven't really had them. And I'm going to say this because we don't have equality between women and men in society yet, and outside society. We're getting closer every year, but we don't have gender parity yet. And if we don't have gender parity in the outside world, and we've never had a female president, and we don't have equal ratio 50-50 of leadership in our government, we don't have 50-50 leadership in the outside world, thus it's not reflected in our relationships, 50-50 leadership. Now, you might have been lucky enough to grow up in a household, or maybe made the conscious efforts to create a partnership in which you do have 50-50 equality. Maybe you're in a gay or lesbian relationship, non-binary. If you're in a heterosexual relationship, there are things that you've inherited from the previous generations. You have many thousands of years of ancestors in which there was not equality in that relationship. So you have it in your DNA, plus it's modeled to us on TV, and it's modeled to us in stories and movies and just out in society. So if we know that there's been an imbalance in our relationships, that means it's our generation that has to deconstruct relationships and then rebuild them from a more equal place. This has been coming up so much lately in my conversations with friends, fellow therapists, with my clients. It's wild. So no surprise that Lilith came up today to show her face and say, hey, no more of this. I exist. My needs matter. No more defaulting to my partner and their needs. Typically, like I said, that's a man that you're defaulting to. That's the way our society has been, but it might be the reverse in your partnership. That's always possible. So yeah, she's saying walk away from relationships that are draining you. If there's a relationship you're in that you're giving, 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 and they're taking, 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 and there's no reciprocity, you gotta go, because that is an energy that's being drained. It'll come out in your finances, it'll come out in your health, it'll come out in any number of ways. And it's your job to walk away. It's your job to take that power back. And I know this is way easier said than done, especially in these economic times and the world that we're living in, where it almost is, it's very difficult, especially if you have children, to exist as a single parent or a single adult household. But there's alternative ways that we can join together and have true empowerment, right? And have that balance back in relationships. And, this card, Lilith, is saying that so one of the reasons that you might be tolerating this kind of relationship is because you're afraid to actually take responsibility for your life and set off on your own. And it's hard to imagine that if you've been in this situation, if you've been the overfunctioner, because a lot of times you played that role in your family even as a child, and that's why you end up being in a partnership in which you have to parent, or you feel like you have to parent your spouse. And if you don't, then all hell is going to break loose. But this is a very unhealthy dynamic, not only for the person who's taking on the parenting role and the overfunctioning role, but also for the underfunctioner, the one who's kind of just kicking their feet up and saying, oh, that's the wife's job, or that's the other person's job, I just make the money, whatever it is. Because you will lose your passion in the relationship. If you're forcing them into a parent role with you and a caretaker role with you, they are going to lose their sexual desire for you, because it's not normal for us to be sexually attracted to our parents. Okay? So don't make your spouse parent you or be a parent, because the passion will leave. And this will sneak up on you before you realize it. So it's things like, I had this in my marriage where, I'm divorced now, but I had this in my marriage where I was taking care of the bills. I was taking care of the groceries and the food and planning the meals and managing the whole household, plus working full time. He was going to school, working part time. He was sharing his dreams and goals and spouse type conversations with his mother, and I took on the role of mother. Like, I was saying, did you finish the laundry? Did you do this? Did you do this that we agreed to? Not a fun place to be, okay? And so I'm telling you this from experience, personally, as well as professionally. You don't want to be in that situation. And then you have to assess, like, are you dating somebody, or are you with somebody that is not at your level, right? And so there's lots of different levels of compatibility we have, but, being able to have the courage to find a different relationship. And this card is also saying that you are ripe and ready for a healthy, equal, interdependent relationship. So I'm just going to apply this to everybody, the whole world, because I'm ready. I'm ready for the whole world to have equal, interdependent relationships. Wouldn't that be wonderful if we could, both be, if we could be a power couple, whether you decide to be a stay-at-home mom, or have that more traditional structure, you could still be a power couple, because if that's what you really love to do, is nurture your children and stay home and take care of your children, again, whether you're man or woman, that's what you just love to do and that's your dream, then you're being that power couple. You're doing what you really love to do and fulfilling your purpose. I've had past life memories where that was my purpose. I wasn't a mother in this particular past life, but I was there to support and devote to my husband, and that was very enjoyable for me in that past life. In this one, that's not the purpose. I still love being a mother. I still love taking care of my partner. I'm a born nurturer. This is why I'm a therapist. This is why I'm a coach. But that's my career too. So I'm very passionate about my career as well as taking care of my people in my personal life. It's a 50-50 thing. That's what I need. So I need to match with somebody that has that same orientation, 50-50. They can pick up the slack at home and with parenting, but they also are into their career. So be honest with yourself. What are you? Are you somebody that's really into your career, not so much the domestic life, 50-50, whatever, and then you find your equal power couple match. That's what it is. What else do I want to say about this? Yeah. So let's do it. Let's like deconstruct these unhealthy relationships that we've inherited, these unhealthy relationship dynamics, and bring the balance back. And you can be, and I've seen this because I work with very conscious men, and you can be very conscious and really want to do better and have more equality in the relationship, and yet women are still tending to take on more of the household responsibilities and more of the planning tasks they called emotional labor, right? And you don't even realize it, because how could you realize it if you're doing so much better than your dad did or your grandpa did? And so it's like really listening to needs and desires in the relationship of both partners, and splitting up tasks. And you see this too in like ADHD relationships, because there are certain things that are much harder for somebody with ADHD or autism or neurodivergence to complete certain tasks, or they get overwhelmed really easily, right? So unfortunately, you can create a parent-child dynamic with that. So you have to be really careful, again, to stay away from those parent-child dynamics. Otherwise, you have no sex life, guys. It gets bad. No desire. All right, so let's meditate on, I feel like I could do a whole podcast. Actually, I did do 2 years of a podcast on this topic. Goddess Vibrations, the Spiritual Sexual Empowerment Show. It's on YouTube. Go check it out. Lots of discussion on this equality and bringing back equality, especially in the pleasure sense. But yeah, let's meditate on Lilith today and her message of, it says on here, interdependence or independence, because she's saying walk away from those unbalanced relationships. But I'm calling it empowerment, because you might choose to stay in your relationship and bring back the balance. Unfortunately, if you have a partner that's been benefiting in some way from there being an imbalance in the energy, they're not that motivated to bring it into balance. And I could say this for racial dynamics too. I think that, I'm speaking as a white person, but I'm also speaking as somebody who has experienced depression, being a woman, and also as a therapist and somebody who tries to always take the higher perspective. If white folks or any dominant group, and I say dominant because they're the ones that have historically had the power, is benefiting in some way by other people not having as much power, one, they're not going to be as aware, and two, they're not going to want to just be like, oh, here, take away some of this stuff that I would be benefiting from. Think about like siblings. If the oldest sibling is getting all the privileges or the best treatment or whatever, and the baby is like, hey, what about me? Or the middle child's like, hey, what about me? The oldest is not going to want to give up any of their power, but we have to, okay? Like, we're not going to have healthy relationships until we start to share power. So you have to be like really self-aware and listen to other people and what they're saying. And you can't hear other people's pain unless you've addressed your own and know how to keep your nervous system calm and have gone to therapy. So that's the one instance where another adult can, similar age adult can parent another adult who's not a parent, is in therapy. In therapy, you're getting reparented, okay? So if you are having to parent your spouse, get yourselves into therapy so you can both be reparented by the therapist and then come out as more equal partners. That's the healthy way to do it. I am accepting clients, by the way, so contact me. All right, here we go into meditation. And thank you for listening to me go off on this topic. It's one, as you can tell, that I'm very passionate about, close to my heart. Turning the music on now. But I'm not hearing the music. Oh, there it is. All right, getting relaxed into a nice meditation position, sitting or lying. And let's go in and shift this energy around healthy partnership, interdependence, being empowered in your relationship, whether you choose to stay and bring the balance back or you have to leave in order to create the balance. Receiving the breath, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Feeling a warmth coming across your hands, your arms, your legs. A pleasant heaviness and warmth. Feeling your feet rooted into the ground. Maybe even imagining roots coming out through the bottom of your feet, breaking through the floor, through the earth, all the way to the center of the earth, attaching to a metal ring. Feeling grounded. Maybe even imagining yourself like a tree, solid and stable and interdependent with all the other trees. Your roots combining under the earth and the soil. Communities of trees take care of each other. They'll actually send nutrition through the root system to a sick tree. And our human life is meant to be the same. That if someone's having a tough time, the rest of the people band around and give the resources that are necessary to heal. We're not meant to be hyper independent and an individual taking on the world by ourselves. We're also not meant to be the only responsible one in our relationships. And maybe going in and doing a self-assessment now of your relationship or your relationships. Are there ways that you're trying to heal somebody in order for them to be with you? Someone who's not pulling their weight, not meeting you in the responsibility and the presence it takes to have a healthy relationship or to grow a family. Or maybe you're the one that's not showing up as much as you could with the child care, the household tasks, the financial decisions and responsibilities. Balance doesn't mean that everything is split 50-50. Balance means that we each identify what we love to do, what we're good at, what makes sense given what we're up against. And we divvy up tasks, responsibilities, so that we're working together as a team. Assessing now what you saw growing up with your parents, whether you grew up with married parents, divorced parents, remarried parents, single parents. Who seemed to be doing all the work? And if your mother did not yet have total freedom in the outside world, like my mother who couldn't buy furniture without her husband's permission from the store, couldn't get a loan or a bank account without her husband's signature. How was that power imbalance in the outside world compensated for inside the home, in the relationship? How did it impact you? And whether you're a man or a woman, being honest with yourself now, really looking inward. Do I have more of a family focus or a career focus, or both? Do you dream of staying home and raising the children as a full-time passion? Do you dream of going out into the world and making a name for yourself? Focusing on career, bringing in good income, or is it some balance of both? I always say we can have anything we want as long as we're willing to work for it or make the sacrifices. And if you want it all, you can have it all. But at what cost? And then assess if your partner is supporting what it is that you want. And are you supporting what it is that they want? Are you complementary? Like a yin and yang symbol. Not the same, but balanced. And are you brave enough to set a boundary, to disengage from that relationship, or even to walk away from that relationship? If you're not feeling the reciprocity, and you haven't been feeling the reciprocity for some time, maybe even ever. See yourself as a ball of energy, a ball of potential, and your partner as a ball of energy, a ball of potential. And if energy can neither be created or destroyed, energy is finite. Love is unconditional. We can love one and another and another and another and another, and our heart expands with each new love. But our time and our energy is finite. Those are precious resources. And if you are this ball of energy, this ball of potential, but you're giving the biggest portion of it to your partner so that they can grow and have everything they want in life and up level in all the ways, and you're only left with a fraction, and your partner's not taking you with them. They're not giving that energy back to you so that you can grow and up level. This relationship will naturally end when you become so depleted. You don't even know who you are anymore. And you're forced to walk away and to put boundaries around your energy so that you can keep it. And now imagining matching with someone, another bright ball of energy and potential. And here you are in your empowered, restored state, a bright ball of energy and potential. And your partner, your equal match, perhaps they have a bad day or a bad season, and you give some of your energy to them, reinforce them, make them stronger, and they gift some of energy to you, reinforce you and make you stronger, and you send more energy to them, making them stronger. And the two of you continue with this reciprocal energy, rising together, uplifting, becoming stronger and more powerful, happier, healthier, pouring back into one another, maintaining your own power, your own strength, your own energy, with the support of your partner. And notice how different this feels. Notice what happens in your outside life. Income increases. Your sleep is better. Your health is better. Your mood is better. You're more available to friends, to your children. You're more energized to do what it is that you love to do, to grow and to shift. No longer operating on crisis mode, insecurity or poverty consciousness, lack, depletion. Because someone's receiving and taking all of your energy and using it for their own gain or pittering it away. And what will it take for you to walk away from these types of relationships? And what will it take for you to assess and discern an equal relationship? Perhaps you need a third party, an outside source to see the energy and bring both sides aware of where the energy leaks are, where it's not being reciprocated, to help you plug up the energy leaks so you can rise as a couple. Or maybe your partner has always operated this way, and there is no hope for change. And in that instance, you need to save yourself, regenerate, and bring yourself back. We're living at a time that is very changeable. Some might say unstable, unexpected, unpredictable. And with every situation, there are pros and cons. And what is good about these times is when things are unstable, they are able to change easily for better or for worse. So these times are requiring a new way of doing things, a rebalancing, a reconstructing. We are the generation that is rebuilding the world, the earth, our human dynamics, especially as Pluto moves into Aquarius now. What you decide to do in your relationship and with your life sends a ripple out into the world that shifts and changes the outside. Like Lilith, what you're no longer willing to tolerate, to be cast aside or unseen or needs unmet or unable to voice your concerns. That you always have power is what Lilith is saying. You always have your own power if you claim it. And it may not be easy, but you don't allow people to walk over you, to cross your boundaries. And you can be kind about this until you're forced to not be so kind. And if that's what it takes, is it worth it? For not only your freedom, your sovereignty, your equality, but that of everyone. You're paving the way. For your children, for your legacy, for your descendants, and for all of humanity. You've got this. I believe in you. If you need to, go back to day one and go through all of the goddess messages, all of the meditations to reinforce yourself, to feel your ball of energy, your ball of light growing stronger and stronger. And if you need help with this, I'm here for you. We've got this. We're creating the new earth. We're creating a new type of relationship in which we all thrive. In our relationships, our partnerships, our families, our work systems, our communities, our governments. It's that important. And it starts with you. As above, so below. Coming back now to waking consciousness with all of your energy, feeling empowered, confident, motivated, ready for a shift, ready for a change. Thank you all for joining. I will see you again tomorrow for our last day, 21 days of the Goddess messages and meditations. Bring Lilith with you today if you need a little encouragement. Imagine her energy, imagine me, my voice there with you. You got this.